reverse order. Ms. Larson?
Honorable Councilman Hurd, Honorable Councilwoman Green, Honorable Councilwoman Norris,
Present.
Honorable Vice Mayor Dyer,
Present.
Honorable Mayor Bilbrey.
Present. The invocation will be led by Mr. Lewis Bryant.
Our great and eternal Father in heaven, we come before you now to thank you for all the blessings that you've given us living in this community, in this country. And we thank you for those, and we ask that you will help us to be patient and understanding with each other as we carry out our duties. And we ask that you give us the health and safety we need. And again, we thank you for the opportunities we have, and we ask this in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Our Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Kevin Rush.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda is to consider approval of the agenda as presented. I think everybody's had a chance to review that. Is there any questions?
Make a motion.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second on the floor. Ms. Larson, roll call vote.
Honorable Hurd, Honorable Green, Honorable Norris,
Yeah.
Vice Mayor Dyer,
Yes.
Mayor Bilbrey.
Yes. Consider approval of minutes of special call meeting, council meeting held on June 6, 2016. I think everybody's had a chance to review those as well. Is there any changes need to be made or comments?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and second on the floor. Roll call vote.
Honorable Hurd, Honorable Green, Honorable Norris,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Dyer,
Yes.
Mayor Bilbrey.
Yes. Consider approval of minutes of the council meeting held on June the 7th, 2016. Those are also in our packets. I think everybody's had a chance to review those. Is there any changes or comments?
I'll motion that.
Make a motion, I'll second it. Roll call vote.
Honorable Hurd, Honorable Green, Honorable Norris,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Dyer,
Yes.
Mayor Bilbrey.
Yes. Consider approval of minutes of special call meeting that is held June the 28th, 2016. Everybody's had a chance to review those minutes. Is there any comments or changes?
I'll make a motion.
Motion, I'll second. Roll call vote.
Honorable Hurd, Honorable Green, Honorable Norris,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Dyer,
Yes.
Mayor Bilbrey.
Yes. New business. Consider approval to suspend the reading of ordinance 610-16. We have any questions about that?
I'll make a motion.
Have a motion.
Second.
Second on the floor. Roll call vote.
Honorable Hurd, Honorable Green, Honorable Norris,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Dyer,
Yes.
Mayor Bilbrey.
Yes. Consider approval of the first reading of the ordinance 610-16, adopting personnel rules and regulations employee handbook. I've not had a chance to review this. I make a motion that we table this. I had a chance to review it. Comments? Motion fails for lack of second. Go back to the original motion. Consider approval of first reading of ordinance 610-16, adopting personnel rules and regulations employee handbook.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion second on the floor. Roll call vote.
Honorable Hurd, Honorable Green, Honorable Norris,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Dyer,
Yes.
Mayor Bilbrey.
No. Consider approval to close city services as holiday on August 4th, 2016.
I know that I had spoken to Mr. Morrison about this. Well, actually, he'd approached me and said he was thinking about this and putting it on the agenda because of the foot traffic that's going to be involved with the election inside City Hall. He didn't want to disrupt services or employees' ability to do their jobs or anything like that, and that was the reason this was put on the agenda for tonight. And I have no issue with it. I'll make a motion.
Okay. Motion.
Second.
Motion second on the floor. Roll call vote.
Honorable Hurd, Honorable Green, Honorable Norris,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Dyer,
Yes.
Mayor Bilbrey.
Yes. Consider approval to declare the 1995 Stewart and Stevens cargo truck as surplus property with proceedings designated to the drug fund. Would you like to speak on that?
Yeah, that cargo truck, has come up as surplus property, and it'll go out on, gov deals, of course, to try to, recoup some money out of it that will be designated to the Allgood City Police Department's drug fund. And hopefully, I mean, in times past when we've had things on gov deals, we've actually done better with them than first anticipated, so maybe this will also be the case. I'll make a motion on this.
Second.
Motion second on the floor. Roll call vote.
Honorable Hurd, Honorable Green, Honorable Norris,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Dyer,
Yes.
Mayor Bilbrey.
Yes. I want to add something to the new business. I make a motion to allow an independent audit that will be paid for by citizens and taxpayer of Allgood. This will be at no cost to the city budget. The funding's already been secured, and the proposed folks that want to pay for this, I asked them, I said, how are we gonna choose who does this? They said, well, they can put 3 names in and a blind draw and draw out who does it so that we don't have any favoritism that way. I know in the past, it's been brought up here to the city council, and it was voted down. Councilperson Green elaborated to say that that we had a perfect audit, and I dispute that, because each one of us on this council was given a little black book, and in the latter part of that book, it tells what the auditor said we needed to change. It was not perfect. I understand that people on this council don't want to spend unnecessary money, and I'm with you on that. But this is an election year coming up for some folks, and I think it's very important that the citizens and the taxpayer of this city see exactly how we're managing their money and spending their money. And if there's problems, then we need to fix those. That being said, like I said, I made a motion. Do I have a second? Motion fails for lack of second. That brings us to the city administrator's report.
Mr. Mayor, before we get to that, in your packet as well, there is a quote here regarding the large oak tree in front of the community center. This was something that Mr. Morrison put in each one of our packets regarding it. He has spoken with Mr. Scott Winningham, who lives in the city and is a tree arborist. It's fairly detailed in his quoted work description here on what he wants to do with it. And this is just something for us to consider, and I just wanted to bring it to your attention. Nothing that we're going to vote on tonight, but we need to get, I think we need to get some more information on it, and maybe have Mr. Winningham come and talk to us about what he has in mind in detail. But I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Mr. Winningham was a contractor for the state of Tennessee and actually took care of the trees at the state capitol. So he's definitely got the experience and the knowledge to do that. The governor of the state of Tennessee felt like he was capable of handling it. I think he would be capable of handling the oak tree here at the community center as well.
I do too.
So that's something we'll look into.
In the city administrator's report, budget numbers, our general fund revenue is at 103.75%, which is $3,058,521.11. Our general fund expense was at 72.02, and at the time when this was printed, we did not have all outstanding things taken care of, right, Ms. Larson?
Correct.
Okay. So the number I have here is $2,657,672.44. And that number will change once we receive, everything is receipted from the last budget year. Water and sewer revenue is at 0.64%, which totals out to $1,739,386.39. Water service expense is at 77.46%, and again, those numbers are not quite complete until everything is receipted, which gives a total of $1,344,049.11. Our total account balances for the city are $8,277,541.67. The Williams Square drainage tile is complete. Mr. Jones, have they widened that and ready for paving?
Ready to pay that.
Okay, thank you. The Burton Branch SIA is working out details with the TDOT, and I understand from Keith that there is a scheduled meeting that Matthew Tucker is trying to arrange with TDOT and the city of Allgood. The Mirandy Road tank rehab is complete and online. Our paving and sidewalk endeavors for this year are complete. The new shop at the Public Works Department is now complete. And it looks pretty good. It looks real nice. A whole lot better than what you had. A whole lot better. Anything from any of the department heads?
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, turn it back over to you.
All right. Before we get to our next section, I want to caution our department heads that have employees that are working. Make sure this is an election year, and you know the election's near. Make sure that you caution the employees to stay out of the election. We've had this problem before. I was approached and told by a lady that we had a city employee that if there was a particular election sign in their yard, that she could not approach them or speak to them. Every citizen in this town should have the right to the same services regardless of their political affiliation. Okay?
Mayor, I can guarantee you that didn't come from my department.
Okay, all righty. Well, I didn't mention any names who the employee was, but I just want you to know that you know, we've been down this road before, and with the election up on us, we don't want to go down that road again, okay? Also, there'd been some speculation. I think Chief Harris had alluded to it, that I wasn't at the last budget meeting, and I want to explain that. And I got a copy of it on your Facebook page, is how I found out about it. I met up with a avoidable accident that could have been avoided, but it wasn't. Anytime that you're on sick leave with the state of Tennessee, or you're on workman's comp, you cannot participate in secondary employment. That's what this job is, secondary employment. So I couldn't step foot on the property, couldn't sign anything, no function could I show up at, budget meetings, 4th of July celebrations, those kind of things. So that's why I wasn't here. Our city administrator knew that. Obviously, he didn't share it with everybody else, and talking to the vice mayor, he didn't bother to tell him why that I wasn't coming back, when he knew plainly why I wasn't coming back.
He just said that you were injured, sir.
Yeah, okay. But he didn't tell you that I couldn't come back because of the state wouldn't allow me to do that, right?
No, he did tell me that.
Okay,
He did
okay.
tell me that.
All right.
He just didn't elaborate on what your injuries were.
Okay, all right, all right. Well, I'm better now. Got to go back to work yesterday, which opened it up to where I could come back here where we're at, okay? That being said, that brings us to the hearing of citizens and or delegations. If you'd like to address the council, please approach the podium, directing your comments directly to the chair, okay?
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for hearing me. I'd like to know what they're going to do. I got a letter from the lawyer for the Williams Square, 120 Williams Square. My family lives there, and the water problem that's coming from the back. That lady Sonia Brown, she was given permission to build those apartments there, and so now a lot of water is coming into our land. I told you that last time. And is there anything that's going to be done about that?
Well, our attorney's not here. Victor, do you know anything?
Keith and the attorney was working on that to see where it was on the wetland issue back there in the back, about cleaning it out.
Okay. Keith's on vacation, and I don't know where the city attorney's at.
Well, the letter said that we need to get together and try to find a lawyer and take care of it. But I don't think that's proper because, you know, we don't have that kind of money. I mean, she had money and she was given permission to do that. Before it was done by the state, you know, because it's a low land or whatever. But now there's so many apartments there, so the whole water is coming there. And I think, you know, since the city gave them permission to build it, I think they should take care of it. I mean, you need to, you know, come by my house and see that, how much it's just sinking in. If you walk there, you can't walk, you can't mow the lawn, you got mosquitoes and,
When was they given permission? When was that?
well, this house was, I mean, our house was already there before those buildings were built.
But when were the buildings built, is what I'm asking?
I don't remember, 8
About a
years,
year ago.
8 years ago.
You guys on the council then? Do
No.
y'all remember anything?
But I do know that Mr. Morrison had said that he was looking into this matter concerning this particular property because it was a wet issue, with the apartments like she has said, but I don't know what he's found out from the attorney.
Do you have Mr. Morrison's number and know how to contact him?
You mean the lawyer?
No, the city administrator, Mr. Morrison.
No.
Okay, you can contact him here, at the city, 537-9545, extension 8? What? 0206. Of course, when will he be back? Vaughn?
Next Monday.
Next Monday, he will be back.
Mayor, she has my card, and she'll just call me, and I can get you and Keith set up together to go back over it again.
If we have to have a meeting here with you, him, and the attorneys, we can do that
Okay.
and find out. We'll get you an answer.
Yeah, because we've been waiting, you know, all this time because we don't have the finances and, you know, we
I
were told
understand.
that it would be taken care of and it's just a big hassle. We cannot be outside in our land.
So somebody told you it would be taken care of?
Yeah.
Who told you
I
that?
mean, we had a realtor that we bought the house with and they said that it was gonna be taken care of and I don't know what happened. And we
Yeah.
don't have those papers because they were given to the bank through the realtor, so,
Okay.
you know, maybe we were misled. And
Well, let's try to set up an appointment with the attorney and with the city administrator, and let's get you some answers, okay?
Okay.
If you could contact them, they said he would be back next Monday. Just contact him here at City Hall, okay?
I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
I'm Roger Williams. I'm sort of trying to get something straight here. I saw an email or something from the chief, and it was about the defense that we had the lawyers defending the people about your lawsuit. I came here 2 times and went toe-to-toe with your lawyer saying it had nothing to do with the city. As far as the city, the employees were acting out of their scope. Went toe-to-toe with them 2 or 3 times, telling them, you know, that's not the way it is. And the insurance company came back, and they said, Tennessee Municipal League came back, and they said 2 things. One, they did say that since you were suing, they couldn't do anything about it. The second part of the paragraph said that it had nothing to do with, the city had nothing to do, and it had nothing to do with the scope of the work of the employees. They were acting outside their limits of their duties of the city. I argued with the lawyer again. He says you still had to go to court. You all voted on it to take care of these people and to take care of the situation. When it got to the judge, the judge threw the city out. The city didn't even have to, she threw it out. That's 2 people that threw it out. 2 entities, separate entities that threw it out. And one was because you were suing. I understand that. But both the other ones said it was because it was not in the scope of the employees, what they did. I've got something here where it says Roger Williams, a non-resident of the city of Allgood, urged the council to pay the mayor $1.42 million as a settlement in a lawsuit. In an open council, I want to know when I said that, and when did I say that?
First off,
Yes, yeah,
has nothing to do with the city lawsuit. That's my personal Facebook account. If you want to talk to me after the meeting,
Okay.
I'm more than happy to do so.
Well, you
so
know,
that was posted on your personal Facebook, okay?
which says Chief Harris. It doesn't say Gary Harris. It says Chief. When he puts his signature, When he puts his heading in front of there, that's you guys. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is on that one. And I want you to tell me later on when it happened and when I said that, because it didn't. Well, you tell me when I told that. I'll wait, that's no problem.
We'll be, okay, all right, we'll get that.
So, thank you.
Okay, all right. Okay, next.
This is an election year, as you stated, Mr. Mayor. This is in regard to the previous topic of an additional audit being funded by an outside party to avoid any questions about how the city spends money. Number one, who is funding this audit? Number two, who will be considered for the audit? Number three, who will be voting on this auditing agency? Number four, where will the results be posted? Thank you.
Okay. Next.
I believe, it's Linda Bennett, All Good Action Committee. I believe that didn't pass, what she was asking you about, so that's redundant, doesn't matter, okay? We're asked to defend. Gary Harris did go on Facebook, so did Terry Lindsay, and so did Johnny Cyrus. And they said some very nasty things on their Facebook post. And then they invited people to send it out to people that they were talking about. They did say that. Terry Lindsay said, last night we had a great time at a Freedom Sofa event in Oakland. One thing that bothered me were a couple of people standing away from the crowds, handing out papers that turned out to be outright bullshit. He's the gentleman right here with the tubes, sending out the bullshit. Over the next few days, I will address what lies they were telling to try to get elected. Neither one of them are trying to get elected for anything, okay? I have spent over 10 years at my job and will not let some people destroy what we as a city has worked hard to build. So if you want to hear the real truth, stay tuned. Oh, and for the few that will pass this, forward this to the ones I'm talking about, feel free. I don't care, because the truth always hurts a lot. That's Mr. Cyrus. Then Mr. Cyrus.
Chief, just a second.
Then
You have a
Mr.
chance to
Cyrus
respond.
says, their acts are simply just paper terrorism that they send in requesting all their bullshit documents. There needs to be some kind of charges these people, terrorists and sovereign citizens, can be charged with. These fellows need to learn the law. We have a perfect right to come up here and get papers. We've been doing it for a while. That's how we've uncovered things and why we want to have the independent audit. Okay? Now, the second part that we're defending is the fact about the lawsuit. Comes up again. At the beginning of the trial, Judge Amy Hollers released the city from any liability in this case. You'll agree with that? Okay. Meaning they were immune. Okay. That left Karen Bohannon, Victor Jones, Gary Harris, and Terry Fouch in the lawsuit as individuals. It is my opinion that the city chose to pay for their attorneys not out of a responsibility to protect the city, but to protect their friends. Once the city determined it was immune, it only had two options, either to insure or indemnify the individuals, with TML stating these employees and former mayor acted outside the scope of employment and the case law saying the same. The city, in my opinion, erred in paying their attorneys. Okay? These are publications that came up in the paper about city has to foot the bill, and that bill mounted up to about $80,000, somewhere around there. That's a lot of money. You didn't have that kind of money to vend yourself. You had no money. You could not carry on and have 3 or 4 or 5 lawyers defending you for a pack of lies. And your main witness, if I might quote her, said that she lied. All through her testimony to the Highway Patrol, she states it was a lie. She also states it was cooked up by the people who worked here to get you not elected as mayor and to get you fired from your job. That's what her testimony is, and I'll quote it. I'll quote you. These are not my words. These are Karen Bohannon's words. Ms. Bohannon admitted that she hadn't been truthful with investigators. Lieutenant Hamilton then asked Ms. Bohannon why she hadn't been truthful about it. After a very long pause, Ms. Bohannon replied, "What this boils down to is they want me to get him fired from his job because they don't want him to win the mayor's race. They want me to talk to you guys about what went on with me and him and in his patrol car and him in uniform." Okay? Ms. Bohannon stated that she has always liked Bilbrey and his wife Angie, but in other words, she was coerced. She was threatened and coerced into doing it. So that is not what you said about the $80,000 that the judge threw it out. That is untrue. That's untrue.
Just meant directed up here.
I'm sorry.
Directed up here.
I just get emotional because that really upsets me. I remember when it happened, and I know you didn't have the money, and I know you were humiliated and embarrassed, and they tried to run you out of town on a rail. It's wrong. Everything they did is wrong. And the last pack of lies they told cost the citizen $80,000. Needs to stop.
Okay. Chief, did you want to respond? If you would approach the podium.
The action committee come up here and address this before you move in. I need to know exactly who's on the action committee. If, I don't leave anybody out.
Well, that's personal. You'll have to address that with her. You know, like you said about your Facebook, I mean, that's, Okay. Did you want to respond? Okay. Anybody else want to respond on that aspect?
I would like my questions answered if possible.
That motion failed. There'll be no information provided on that, just like any other thing that
Okay,
comes up.
none on the audit, the results?
The results,
Yeah,
it was voted down.
okay,
There is gonna be no audit, therefore I'm not answering any questions on
Okay.
that.
thank you.
Okay? Okay. That's it.
My name is Lloyd Norris. I've been around this town for a number of years. And I've done a lot for this city. I've done more for this city than the city's done for me, I'll put it that way. But I'm not gonna stand by and let one individual accuse me of a lie. And that Roger Williams, you're the individual. You need to get your facts straight.
Mr. Norris, like everybody else, you have to direct it up here,
He
okay?
need to get his facts straight before he starts accusing somebody. Because all he done was done a personal attack on Jennifer Green and Carolyn Norris and Lloyd Norris in this flyer he's passing around the day of July the 2nd over there. It says in this flyer here that Jennifer Green and Carolyn Norris' husband, Lloyd, voted for apartment complex on Dry Valley Road against the will of the people. Shameful. Well, I've got news for Roger. I've got the minutes right here that plainly says those voting no or nay for it was Mayor Fouch, Vice Mayor Adams, Councilman Dyer, Councilwoman Green. Those voting nay, Councilwoman Norris, that's when she voted down. And then the minutes for the Board of Zoning is that I passed. I did not vote for him. I passed. Plainly states it right here in the minutes. Right there. Chairman Norris pass. So I want that just cleared right now with Roger. You know, I ain't never done nothing to Roger, my wife's never done nothing to Roger. And this personal attack, I know it's because of election year, but that's pretty cheap, I think. Attacking these people because they're running for council. And then bring up me, I don't even have a dog in this race. But I wanted that understood.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I'm David Maynard, and I'd like to comment to Mr. Norris's comments here. First of all, I would like to refer this fact sheet that Chief Harris got on his webpage. Fact number 4 says Lloyd Norris, member of the Board of Zoning Appeals, voted against the apartment complex on Dry Valley Road. Quoting from the minutes of that very proceeding, last paragraph, I'll not go through the whole minutes, but Mr. Norris never once voiced an objection, never once made a comment. According to the minutes, never did anything except conduct the meeting. The last paragraph, a motion was made by Hugh Adams to approve the special exemption request upon finding that the development met all the requirements of the zoning ordinance. The motion was seconded by Leon Fletcher and passed with Adams and Fletcher voting yes, and Chairman Norris passing. Well, let me explain to you what happens when you pass. I shouldn't have to, but obviously some people don't know the meaning of it. Your own charter says in section 2, subchapter 12, talk about city legislation, it says a member who passes once must then vote yes, no, or abstain. Robert's Rules of Order says, while it is the duty of every member who has an opinion on the question to express it by his vote, yet he cannot be compelled to do so. He may prefer to abstain from voting, though he knows the effect of the same if he had voted on the prevailing side, meaning if you pass or abstain, you're voting for the prevailing side, which was yes in that case. And also the last source, which we hear often from the employees here, is from MTAS. MTAS says in some jurisdictions, it is said that silence or refusal to vote is concurrence. It is the duty of the silent member to express their opinion if they desire to oppose the question before the council. And if they fail to perform their duty, they must be taken as assenting to the action of the majority of those who do vote. So Mr. Norris, while he did not vote no and passed, he assented to it, which means he concurred with the passing vote. So in effect, he voted for it. He did not oppose it. That's according to the record.
Okay. Enid?
I have nothing against Floyd. It's just, you gotta know procedure, gotta know what you do when you pass, gotta know what you do when you abstain. And if you don't know the rules, he was the chairperson then. And if he didn't vote no, did he? Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? Concerns?
My day in the pit here. There've been some questions about the police budget. And I think the circular said that it was over $1 million. Everybody's saying it was under $1 million. I just went by the facts on it, where I came up with over $1.2 million. That's the thing.
Chief, you'll have a chance to respond. This way I'll let you have the podium, okay?
Your budget that they voted on was $961,000. That's the number I got. In that budget, it does not have the dental and medical. The city, that's in your administrative budget. Your administrative budget for medical and dental is $329,000. Let's say $330,000. You've got 28 employees. You divide that by 28. He's got 15 employees. That's $176,000. It's really in his budget. Well, you're budgeting for 15. I see your budget right here, and it's got 15 employees. all right, that's another thing. But, then he pays no electricity whatsoever. He takes up probably a third or a half of the building. It costs, you got budgeted $22,000 for keeping the upkeep of the building in your administrative budget, so that's $10,000. Also, I haven't been able to find where he's got his sick leave and his accrued, and his, what do you do when you don't get paid for it, but you put in time?
Comp time.
Comp time. I can't find that anywhere in the budget. He's got he's got an officer that's got, what I heard, 900 hours of comp time. You're only allowed to have about 450, something like that, as a policeman. I'm giving a real easy estimate at $60,000 in that, that's not in the budget. So I'm coming up with $1.2 million right there. I mean, just because it's not in that line item doesn't mean it doesn't cost the city something. Your health, health, dental, and opera. How many of y'all out there have all that? We pay 80% of it. I think they pay 20. But it's not in his budget. But it still costs the city. I don't understand why it's not in his section. I don't understand why it's not. Capital outlay is in your ball's budget. That's why you all were $600,000 ahead under the budget, because there's $550,000 you didn't spend for the fire department, and $125,000 you didn't spend because the Burton Branch Road didn't get finished. So that's $600,000 right there that you didn't spend in your budget because the capital outlays added into it. So you're all really close on your budget. It's just you didn't have your big things going out. Like I said, I give 961, 176,000, 10,000, 60,000 for your sick leave and accrued. I'm coming up with 1.2 million. 1.2 million. It's not anywhere, you know, that's 1.2 million. I could probably come up with another 100,000 if I had to. You know, he doesn't pay rent on the building, nothing. It's just free. That man there pays utilities. He's in his place. Why doesn't the police? Don't you, Victor? So when they say that it's under $1 million, it's not. There's things in there that cost the city that's not in there, that's in your administrative people. Thank you.
Okay. Chief, you want to bring your budget and respond?
Yes, on that right there, the flyer said, you know, that they voted on a $1.3 million budget for the police department. Not true. My budget was $917,122. There was no, they didn't, if there's any hidden cost there or anything like that, I don't see them, and the council surely wouldn't see them.
Okay. Any other comments?
Terry Fouch. I've been 2 years on council, 2 years sitting back watching, keeping my mouth shut, and came up tonight for a different thing. But I want to say the one conciliatory thing, and is I'm not quite sure where all the anger about the wasteful spending and the tax money comes in. We're still paying property tax, the tax that I pay as a property owner in this city based on 2009 property tax rates. My tax rate bill has not gone up a nickel from the city of Algood. Every year, even before I was in council, this city has been a conservative city, and it's overestimated revenues, which means we bring in more money than we estimate. We're conservative there. And we've been liberal on our estimation of our spending, on our budget. And every year that I've had anything to do with this, and before I was here, that's the way this worked out. So at the end of the year, we brought in more money than we thought we were going to bring in, and we spent less money than we planned. Now that's a good formula. That's the way we work at home. I don't budget to spend everything I make, and I hope I make more than I thought I did. And that's kind of the way we did it. So congratulations, Mayor, and congratulations, Council, because this year, once again, you've done the same thing. Now, everybody's angry about wasteful spending, but what I see is common sense growth making this work. I see a fleet management plan. I see a building that was gonna fall down over at Public Works that's been put back together so it's safe again, so that we can protect our equipment. I see a tax rate at 2009, hadn't gone up since 2009, to the point where, on a reappraisal, we reset the tax rate lower so that reappraisal didn't make the tax bill higher. Revenue net neutral. County didn't do that. Monterey didn't do that. Nobody else did that. They just let the appraisal make the tax rate higher. The rate's the same, the money is more, right? But here in Allgood, your house, my house, Kirk's house, we're paying the same tax money, same tax bill that we did in 2009. So I say congratulations. I say I have, for 4 years, it just confounds me what everybody's upset about. We're still paying the same as we were from property tax standpoint. And you know, it's okay to have nice things in the city. We're staying within our budget. And you know, just congratulations. And that's what I wanted to say.
Just answer that, Mr. Fouch. Something that the citizens are looking at, and using your analogy that we've got more money coming in than we're spending, they would like to see a property tax cut. We have a mayor sitting right back there that under her watch, they did cut taxes, and that's what they'd like to see here. That's why they want to see the spending cut back, so we can give something back to the taxpayers and to the citizens, rather than spending it all in front of them for our employees and big buildings that you can see. That's where the anger's coming from, is they want to see a tax cut. Come on, if you'd like to approach, sir.
Well, I mean, I think, yeah, you either have to give people all their money back, or you have to provide services. And we're tasked, you guys are tasked with providing services. And so, if we gave everybody all their property tax back, the whole property tax budget out of what's less than $300,000, right, on a $3 million budget. If you gave it all back, yeah. So if you gave it all back, I mean, a $100,000 house at this tax rate is paying what, about $100 a year.
Yeah.
So if I'm paying $100 a year on a $100,000 house, I really don't. I mean, we'd probably drink that much into Diet Cokes.
You do, but there are citizens here that are on a fixed income, and those are the ones.
We're all on a fixed income, aren't we?
I
mean, I just make so much money. We're all on a fixed income.
I'm not splitting hairs with
So
you. Know
what I'm
saying,
and I came up here to be conciliatory, and I came up here to say congratulations. And I think, you know, the city is providing services. I think, you know, when you said this building that we can all see in a negative connotation, it's a positive connotation. You're not sitting around picnic tables bumping microphones that are rolling off. We're all here in a nice room. We're all here in a nice building. We've had training for the police departments. The folks are coming from the outside to train here. Allgood is being a city that it's supposed to be. Came up here to be conciliatory and came up here to say, congratulations, you're doing a great job. You've overestimated revenues, underestimated expenses. Can you cut? Sure. And can I cut at home? Sure. But at some point, I've got to buy my kids shoes. So that's where we are. We don't need to cut. We don't need to cut to the quick. We don't need to cut to the point where we're running patrol cars with 100,000 miles on them.
correct,
We don't need to do that. The state didn't ask you to ride in a 100,000-mile patrol car.
but I do.
Well,
I do. Actually, ours is worse than theirs.
yeah, but it shouldn't be. And it shouldn't be the fact that you spend more money in maintenance on a car than the car's value. Shouldn't be. So, you know, I mean, I just think some money spent's good money spent. And you know, we can differ. And I told Mr. Geist earlier, you know, common sense people can disagree without hating each other. And somewhere in this city, we've lost that. Scott, you and I, we can disagree. We don't have to hate each other.
No.
And I disagree with my brother. I disagree with my wife a lot. Love her more than anybody in the world. So somewhere, you know, guys, I would, again, conciliatory, implore you to stop the sit down and talk to each other. Drag up a chair and talk, and quit hating each other. This world's too small, and this is not that important to the point we got to hate each other as a community. And got one side and the other side, and you know, good grief. What is the cliche? Why can't we all just get along? I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's going to be hard to explain that to me. I think a lot of us here have a Christian background. We were tasked as Christians to love each other. And we need to do a lot of heart searching because we're not loving each other. We can disagree. If we've all got the same goal as making Allgood a better place to live, then we ought to be able to drag up chairs and drink a cup of coffee and make Allgood a better place to live without hating each other. And I'm here to say that I don't hate anybody in this room. I don't hate anybody in this room, and never have. And certainly would like that to be reciprocated. I think we're all good people. I think we all got the right idea. I think we just got to figure out how to work together, how to sit down and talk to each other, and how to care about each other. And question people's motives. Can't question somebody's motives and work with them. So, you know, that's just where I am. And, you know, I think we all ought to care about each other. Ought to quit fighting. Not enough room in this city for hate that's here. Uncalled for. Elections are elections. Politics are tough. This is a small town. We're neighbors. Let's stop hating each other.
Just want to clear something that you said that my comment about the building that he could see was negative. I didn't mean that negative. If you took it negative, that was you. And I want to tell you another story when I was knocking on doors when we were talking about property taxes. I had a little old lady, elderly lady, I should say, that she said, well, if you get elected, you need to see about doing something about our property tax. I said, well, our property taxes are low compared to other places. And she said, but what you don't understand is cold weather rolls around and my taxes are due at the end of February. I have to turn my temperature down and throw a blanket on me during the day to make sure that I stay warm because I know I've got to save my money because my taxes are coming due. That weighed heavy on me. That's why I talk about cutting taxes. If we can cut taxes, even for the elderly folks, that's a big thing. Those folks aren't like you and I. If we know something's coming up, we can grab some overtime. We can budget. We make more money than these folks that are on Social Security, and that's the only income that they have. That is why we're talking about cutting taxes. It's not a matter,
Scott,
when you made the reference.
Then cut the taxes.
Right.
I've got a mother-in-law and father-in-law live here. They're Social Security and retirees. I've got friends and neighbors. Cut the taxes. But the hate has got to stop. And
Right.
that's what I got to
Agree.
say.
Okay.
But
Just a minute. Miss Bennett, hang on just 1 second. Miss Norris.
Well, can't they go down to Freddie Nelson's office and they get help, the elderly people and stuff can get help down there if they'll go down there and talk to him.
So what you've got here is
Wait just a minute. Wait just a minute.
Tax increases.
You're out of order.
Sorry, he was.
I know. I don't want any talking till Miss
Oh,
Miss
I'm
Norris
sorry.
gets done,
I'm
okay?
very sorry. Apologize.
Hang on just a second. Now, yes, they can. Individuals can go down there and do that. But why not take care of all of your folks? Some folks, they're not gonna go down there and
Well,
ask for
that's
help.
right.
You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah, I know
That
what
they're
you're
not
saying.
raised that way. They live their life of being very proud. And they're not gonna go ask for help. Some will, some won't. That doesn't change the point that all of them suffer that are in
Well,
that.
that's
Okay?
right.
Okay, now,
I'm
Miss
sorry,
Bennett.
apologize
Yes.
for being
Okay.
out of order. How the bad feeling started, this is where it started, was with the lawsuit and the lies and the things that went about that. That's where it started. Now, to his point about you have great services, we do. We have a police force of 15. We have a ratio that's higher than Memphis for police to citizens. So for that fact, you're proud of it. We have a great police force. We have beautiful police cars. But in this town, I have raised my grandchildren. They're now 16 years old, same age as Terry's. He just congratulated Johnny for doing a good job. They do not have a swing to swing on. We have no park. We have no recreation for these children. We have nothing. This is why the Action Committee and the citizens feel so strongly about this. We don't just need police and all these services. We need things that we can be proud of. I mean, Cookville should have to charge all of Allgood from coming down there to their parks, all the parks they have, and being able to entertain their children or go on a picnic. compare on that flyer that was sent out, compare Monterey to Algood. Monterey doesn't have half the budget we do. And look what they have provided for their citizens. That's where it comes from, Mr. Fouch. That's where it comes from.
Mr. Fouch, would you like to respond? You.
Yeah.
Because Ms. Norris had the floor.
Well, Jesus Christ, I mean, here we are, and, you know, and as I say, we all love each other. I get handed a graph here that shows that spending has gone up. Spending has gone up because tax revenues from other sources that doesn't have anything to do with the property tax that this council sets, has gone up. So yeah, it costs more to buy bread this year. I went to Walmart and spent $250 on about half a week's worth of groceries. I mean, good grief, it's crazy. So yeah, everything costs more than it did. But the blessing here is that Algood has so many sources of income that do not have to do with property tax, that do not have to do with the widow that can't get by paying, that sales tax, special use tax, wholesale beer tax, state highway fund. I mean, there's about 20 different sources that don't have a thing to do with this council setting that rate. Only one this council sets is the property tax rate. And that rate has been the same since at least 2009. So, I guess it's been on how you color it. I'm just saying, good grief. I mean, you know, and we did try to buy property for a park, and you just bust right in the face. What I said before, and what I mean, is that if this negative energy can get flipped into something positive, if this group, if this city can get behind something and say, we want a park, then dadgum, you can have a park. You can have a park. You can afford a park. You can have a nice building. You can afford a nice building. And elderly, we voted to accept that property tax relief. So if you want to relieve the property tax for the elderly, you can do that. All you got to do is apply. So I mean, again, good job, and let's just try to find some common ground.
Couple final comments. 2 meetings ago, I asked you asked the chief to prepare a reason why we needed such a large police force. We have 15 officers. I believe he was supposed to have that ready at this meeting.
Yes.
And number two, in response to Mayor Fauci's remarks, part of the problem is every time if you come up with an idea and they disagree with you, you're targeted. Judy and I are good examples of that. We've had 2 police reports filed against us, both of them false as they could be. Ask them to take away. No, they're going to stay there forever. You built this wall in here because we happened to challenge some of you and want to see what you were deciding to do. So, Mayor, that's the reason why people won't speak up, is because we're targeted. If you disagree with this group, bang, it's too bad. And I pay no taxes and anybody on this board.
Okay. Chief, did you have a report? That report that.
I'm still working on the report, but I do have some interesting facts.
Okay.
Closest city to us.
If you would approach.
The closest city to us in this region, as far as the police departments go, is Livingston. They have about a population of around 4,000, which with all the growth here, we're probably right in line with that. They have 20 officers, 6 dispatchers, and a secretary. Of course, I agree we need to get in line with other agencies around us. And saying that, Cookeville Police, they make about double what we do. So, our guys are falling behind. We deal with the same criminals that they deal with coming under that bridge there. One of our officers got shot here last year, if you'll recall. Cookeville hadn't had anybody shot. So we deal with the same stuff that they deal with, but we get paid a whole lot less. So I'm okay with, getting in line with the other agencies. I could use more men and a raise.
Okay.
I think I don't have a problem with anybody. I have a problem with the spending and people being responsible. I'll give you, for instance, employee medical and dental insurance. For the last 3 years, it's ran $243,000, $257,000, $241,000. You all budgeted this year, you've got 3 people that's supposed to know what they're doing with budgeting. You all budgeted $329,000. That's $80,000 more than what it's been for the last 3 years. Over in parentheses, it says a 3% increase. That only knocks it up to $260,000. But yet, in your budget, nobody questions it. It just, right on through, you've got $329,000. No wonder you don't run out of money at the end of the year. No wonder you got money for extra stuff. You don't have to go and move it around. It's there. It's like your auditor that you've had for 10 years. He says, Allgood doesn't have to worry about money. They got plenty. But nobody questioned this one thing. It's through this whole budget. The last 3 years, you can see what the average is for 3 years, and you still go up $60,000, $80,000. It's not budgeting. It's just putting numbers down, and everybody goes along with it. I have no problem with that, but nobody, he's got the stuff, he's got his budget, but nobody questions it. That's the problem here. And I have nothing against Gary. The only problem is, I don't like the management going on. I don't like the way things are managed. I've been a corporate manager. I've been in the military. People ask me questions. If I'd had a budget like this, the guy above me would have chewed me up and spit me out. But that's just one line in this thing. And you all voted on it last month with no problem, just like that. Sorry.
No responses. Okay. Any other comments? Okay. If not, make a motion with adjourn.
Second.